My name is Lee Holand. Our family has spent over 16 years, has lived for over 16 years in Etobicoke. This question is being posed from the perspective of one who has spent 20 years overseas doing development work. At present, and it's about the consistency of government policy. At present, we have a government telling us that Canadian security is important, and it is carrying out several bombing raids in Syria to preserve our security. At the same time, the government is refusing to sign or ratify the United Nations Arms Trade Agreement, signed already by 130 countries and ratified by 75, including all of the other NATO countries. Israel, a country which knows something about insecurity, has also signed. John Kerry, the U.S. Secretary of State, signed last year and said the agreement won't infringe on gun owners' rights. The treaty is meant to preserve the illegal flow of weapons to terror groups and criminals. 2 Canadians died in the Al-Shabaab attack on the West Mall shopping center in Nairobi. How can Canadians be kept safe in an increasingly unsafe world if our government cannot sign and ratify an agreement to help regulate the flow of weapons? And please don't. And please don't say, as Mr. Harper did the other night in the French debate, that you're still consulting with industry. The treaty came into effect 9 months ago. There were 2 years prior to that when it was all being worked out. And we know that there are some aspects of industry that are putting political pressure on you, but what's most important? The principle of the well-being of the world and Canadians?
You know, we should be, rather than coming down on our country all the time, we should be a little bit more positive. When you talk to people around the world, this country is the best in the G7, and the Prime Minister is one of the most respected leaders in the G7 as one of their leaders. This is one Prime Minister who can tell Vladimir Putin to get out of Ukraine and look him in the eye from 2 feet away. I don't think Justin Trudeau and Tom Mulcair will be able to do that.
Friends, we used to have an international reputation that was much greater than the size of our country population-wise. And it was because of our legacy of peacekeeping. And it wasn't even that long ago that we were at the forefront making the argument internationally to other countries and our allies to sign on to a landmines treaty. And today, what's happened? We're a holdout when it comes to this UN arms treaty. And talking about our reputation internationally, perhaps in his own salty way, former Prime Minister Brian Mulroney, in his, I guess, Irish way of wording things, pointed out that this was the first time that Canada lost a vote to be on the Security Council. And who did we lose to, he said? Portugal, at a time that Portugal was facing bankruptcy. And he said, maybe it's time to look in the mirror and say, internationally, Houston, we have a problem. That was former Conservative Prime Minister Brian Mulroney. We used to be invited around the world to play important roles in places where transitions were taking place and conflicts were taking place. That's no longer the case. We not only have to fix the democratic deficit and all the other issues that ail us domestically, but we once again need to engage internationally in ways that people, when they talk about Canada, they say what the world needs more of is Canada. Thank you.